All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Autonomy Podcast. And I'm welcomed today by Archita.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Judy?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time off of your Friday afternoon to do this podcast.
Of course. I do. Yeah, like it's been a great journey and I'm excited to share that with other people as well.
Me too. I'm really excited to get to know about your journey and how you got to start actually on this journey. So tell me a bit about what got you to jump onto autonomy and decide to make those changes to your life.
I've already been on a fitness journey sort of thing before, and I did see progress, but just not as much progress as I wanted to. And then when I saw autonomy and the sort of people that they work with, mainly South Asian people, I just thought that resonated with me quite a lot because obviously I'm a South Asian woman that loves to eat dal and rice and all that stuff. So I think knowing that I have that support and someone that's educated in that same field, I thought was a good idea to join autonomy. But in general, I just wanted to make change for myself and make sure that I was on a healthy diet and stuff. So I thought this is probably the right time for me to jump in.
Absolutely. And what did you feel that was important for you, Archita? What did you feel you struggled with before joining autonomy?
Just feeling confident. I think there was this one picture that I saw of myself after it was taken and I was like, hold on a second, do I actually look like that? And I saw this post where it was when you look in the mirror, sometimes you tend to be like, oh wow, I actually look really good, where in reality you don't look like you want to look. And I think seeing that picture really put it into perspective, and I was like, yeah, no, I want to feel more confident in what I wear. And I saw the sizes in my clothing also increase, and I was like, no, we need to sort this out. So that's why I decided to get on this program.
It's huge. When we have our why, when our why is really big, that requires massive change and also massive motivation to be able to do it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell me, Archita, as well, what were your goals coming into this journey? Of course, you mentioned, fitting into your clothes, looking at older pictures and not liking what you saw. What did you envision that you wanted to get out of this journey at the end of it?
So I think my goal has always been get to a certain point of weight, I guess. Before I came to uni, there was a certain mark that I was at, and I was I want to get to that goal again because I was looking through pictures and I was like, wow, I looked so good. So that was one goal, but also building those healthy habits that I can sustain in the future. On my previous program, I think what happened was I was eating well and I was restricting myself, but I didn't continue those once I left the program. And so I think I really wanted to make sure that after I've left the program, I wanted to keep those healthy habits and keep those steps rolling and go to the gym and just make that part of my life. I think that's one goal that I wanted to
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's fantastic. You mentioned, Archita, also trying things before joining autonomy, and they were working to a certain extent, but then you kind of it plateaued or did not work. What did you feel the struggle was there that you did not see in autonomy?
I think keeping those habits was quite hard for me. The food that I was eating, I literally had to cut out everything. Even when I went out, it was really restricted in my opinion. When I came to autonomy, it was more, yeah, you can have that, but you also need to make sure that you have a balanced diet, as in have some extra veggies if you want to, so that you can keep it in the same portion. So the portion control and stuff. And also I think the steps, I don't know, I didn't see that much of a difference back then, but now when I do the one plate roll and then the steps and the workout, etc., it's all coming together and I can see how much of a difference that's making.
Awesome to hear, Archita. So now looking at your progress, I have noticed that you've lost almost 6 to 7 kilos. So that's almost 14 pounds. And that is massive, having started after Diwali, around those Christmas periods and around those holidays and New Year's. How did you cope up with all of these events going on in the background?
I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was actually gaining weight. So I think I went to India for 2 weeks and I didn't have access to a scale there. And so when I was so worried to come back and step on the scale, and I actually saw that I lost weight and I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. I think my main struggle was when I go home or when I go to India, I didn't cook for myself. But I think keeping in mind what Abood says, make sure you have portion control, one plate rule, all of this, that really helped me. Even though it's festive period, even though I'm going on holiday, I'm still able to control what I eat and control and getting those steps in as well. Even in India, I'd walk to anywhere that I would want to go rather than taking taxi or something. So yeah, that really helped me.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you mentioned also going to India and traveling, because this is where usually we struggle with the diet, is that actually how we can keep up while we're traveling, while still indulging with food and being able to stay on track. So what did you feel the strategies that worked for you the most during that period in India? Yeah.
I think just keeping up with not fitness as such, but as in like my active movement throughout the day. Sometimes like when you go on holiday, you tend to just like relax on the beach and like, chill. But normally when I go to India anyway, like it's a very hectic lifestyle for me there. And we were doing a lot of walking, we were keeping ourselves busy. So I think that really helped keeping myself active. And nutrition wise, it's really common there to have loads of rice and loads of like dal and stuff like that. But before I went, I had a call with Abood and I asked him like, look, I'm going to India, like what do you think my strategy should be? And he said have more dal because that has protein in it, but have like less rice and try and have some veggies as much as you can. So I kept all of those in mind when I went on holiday.
Yeah, that's really great that once we have a strategy, we feel like, okay, we can tackle any occasion, any event because we know what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you feel those strategies helped you as well kind of learn or build that education around what to do when you travel?
For sure. I think before I went on a holiday, I had that base foundation, I think, for 2.5 months. And so learning about those habits and learning about all of that really helped me when I went on holiday. So I think, yeah, building those habits early was really beneficial for me.
That's great to hear, Archita. So now looking at yourself, you're lost almost 7 kilos. So how do you feel right now versus when you started, when you were around 75, 76 kilos?
A lot more confident. I think I was scrolling through my gallery last week and I saw that picture again where I, made me feel like I wanted to start this program. I looked at it and I was like, wow, like I look a lot different, a lot more confident. There's still a lot more work to do, in my opinion. Like there's still, a certain amount of weight to lose before I get to my target weight. But the fact that I've gotten this far is actually, I'm proud of myself. I'll be honest, I'm proud.
Yeah, we are all proud of you too as well, Archita. Like you're doing really great. You're doing an amazing job. And it must be that great feel and sense of achievement as well that we have.
Yeah.
And of course, like you mentioned, yeah, we still have some work to do, but it's also important to celebrate those small wins and make our goals like, to small achievable goals, how we can achieve them and celebrate them as well.
Exactly. That's very true.
Awesome, Archita. So tell me a bit about before you joined. How did you feel with your energy levels? How did you feel with everything else as well before you joined?
So I have PCOS. Energy levels were horrible. I think like I was working during the summer. Morning would be okay. Like I'd wake up, had my breakfast. And as soon as I've had lunch, it was like crash time. Like I just wanted to crash. I just wanted to like sleep. And I think I mentioned this on the call to Abood the first time we had this call as well. And I think I've really realized that when I'm, keeping these habits and like having good nutritious meals, I'm not feeling as tired during the day. I know currently like with assignments and stuff, my sleep schedule's all over the place. But in general, I don't feel like I need to, crash after a meal. I feel energized because like all the fiber that I'm getting from the veggies doesn't make me just knock out. I think having so much carbs, like I didn't know beforehand how much carbs to have. And I think I'd overload on carbs, which made me just sleep. So yeah, energy levels has been a lot better.
Awesome. Great to hear. And how long have you been struggling with PCOS, Archita?
I was diagnosed, I believe, in 2023. So a year and a half now that I've been told I had PCOS.
And did you feel like you were struggling with losing weight as well over that period?
Not necessarily losing weight. I think as long as I cut out sugar and like stuck to meal plans, doing my gym routine, etc., I was fine. But as soon as I stopped that, it would come right back. It would come rushing back. I think as soon as I was diagnosed, I started my gym journey like by myself. And then I lost, I don't know how much because I didn't really check my weight, but I lost quite a lot of weight. And then by January, so September to January, I lost a lot of weight. Then January, I stopped working out and then I put on so much more weight in March, like by March. So I did see the difference there.
I see. All right. And how did you feel the strategies that were built for you right now with autonomy helped you stay on track and stay consistent? Because you mentioned consistency is key in order to maintain that sustainability in a diet, right? So how did you feel that the strategies that were adopted by autonomy and your coach helped you stay on track throughout this whole period? Because you've been with us now since October.
Yeah.
So now almost going into 4 or 5 months now. So how did you feel like you were able to stay consistent? What were the strategies that worked for you the most?
So definitely the one plate rule. I honestly did not like veggies beforehand. You would give me a plate of veggie, like salad with my food, I just wouldn't eat. But like knowing that is something that like basically I have realized that eating veggies makes you full, right? But you're having your favorite food just there because like you also want to eat it. And I think that's a strategy that I've learned learned to develop. When I go out as well, I will actually eat my salad now. And that's my way of like keeping consistent, I guess. Like I can still go out, eat healthy foods, also while enjoying time with my friends and going out for drinks and stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely one that I've taken on board. And steps, I think I used to get in steps beforehand, but just not as much as I do now. Like if you look at my Fitbit, I'm literally going about 15k a day, which is incredible. Like I never would have done that before. And the thing is, I can actually see the difference, which is why I've kept up with it. If I didn't see the difference, I wouldn't. So steps is really something that's key on my journey.
Interesting that once we try something and it works for us, we feel like, okay, well, the strategy I have adopted is working.
Yeah.
So that means like, this is something good as well. So that leads me to my next question as well, which I wanted to ask you is, what did you feel like you learned so far with autonomy that you did not know about before joining?
Definitely the one plate rule. I'm coming back to that a lot because I can't stress how important that was for me. And also the importance of protein, I think. I've researched it myself as well. I used to take protein shakes. I used to try and hit my protein goal, but I never knew how important that was in order to lose weight. And especially as a PCOS woman, like having 30 grams of protein in the morning is so beneficial. Like it keeps you full, it keeps you going for the rest of the day and keeps you energized as well. I think those two things combined like really helped me, throughout my journey so far.
Awesome. And how did you feel the current diet or the current meal plan that you are having is helping you with managing the symptoms of PCOS?
Current diet, I think like, again, protein plays a really big impact in PCOS, like helping you lose weight. And also my medication, like Abood suggested so many medications for me to get on so that I can like manage it. The diet, I think it has my meal plan has a lot of like a huge table, what I can have and like how much I can have. It just gives me like a really good insight, because that was another thing I was struggling with beforehand. Like I know I should be eating healthy, but how much of it can I have? I would track my calories on my protein, but that doesn't tell me how much I can have in one single meal. So you're telling me to have 300 calories, but does that mean more chicken, more pesto? So having that in my meal plan really helped me.
Yeah, it certainly helps building that knowledge as well around food, because using those apps is not sustainable on the long run. Taking images of your food and then putting it in an app and then waiting for it to eat while everyone else sitting next to you has already eaten, right?
Exactly. And also like knowing, I think once you look at the table and you say, oh, I know that 15 grams of pesto is X amount of calories, next time you don't have to look at that because you're used to it and like you've already got it. Whereas tracking it on MyFitnessPal kind of gets like tedious and like you have to do it every day, every meal. It gets quite hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And also like it doesn't build with your knowledge, while this system kind of builds more in your knowledge. When you weigh, like let's say for example, if you're weighing 120 grams of rice every single day, and then with time you'll be able to look at rice and know what 120 grams is, right?
Exactly. I so agree. Yeah, I do that still now. Like I know how much 50 grams of pasta is. I don't have to weigh it out every time. It would be good to, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But certainly something that, do you feel these strategies are things that you will be able to carry on for the rest of your life as well? These are very sustainable and easy to do, that you are able to do it for a very long time.
100%. I think even after I leave this program, I'm pretty sure I will refer back to Abood's meal plan document just so that I can like create some new recipes and stuff. So yeah, definitely something I'll use.
That is awesome. Awesome to hear, Archita. So my next question to you is, now we are sitting at around 68, 69 kilos. So what is next for you, Archita? Where do you want to get?
I think by the end of this program, my target weight is 65. So I've got 3 kilos to go.
Very close.
Which, I'm happy about, I think. But in the long run, like, I think I would love to get to 60 kilos and just like maintain it there and build more muscle, to be honest. I've been lacking on the gym sessions, I'm not going to lie, but I hope to get back on it this week. And hopefully that I continue doing.
When was the last time you were 60 kilos?
When I was in sixth form, 2020, 5 years ago.
Wow, 5 years ago. How did you feel back then versus now?
To be honest, I think even then I didn't feel like I was at a good weight. I didn't think I was healthy. But looking back, I would rather be that weight than I am now. But that's because I think like as a teenager, you'll always have that insecurity. Like I don't feel like I'm enough, like, all that stuff. But if I was that weight now, I would be so happy.
Yeah, you certainly feel more mature now, more knowledgeable, that you know how to deal with it and you want to get there in a nice, sustainable way as well, right?
Exactly. Like as a teenager, you see your friends, skinnier and looking better. And so you want to get to that, but you don't appreciate what you have, I think. But yeah, now that I've been opened up to healthy habits and stuff like that, I know that at 60, I'd be so much healthier.
Have you met friends or people that you haven't seen in a while and they saw you, and what was their reaction when they saw you?
Yeah, even my parents, actually, I hadn't seen them in about 3 weeks. And they came to one of my dance shows and they looked at me on stage and they were like, oh, wow, like you've actually lost weight. And I think hearing that makes a big difference. Even my grandparents, when I went to India, and at this point, I was still like 71. So I hadn't lost much. Like I had only lost about 3-4 kilos. And they looked at me and they were like, oh, wow, like you've actually, lost weight and like you look so much better. I was like, wow, thank you. I've tried to put in my best efforts.
It certainly feels good when we hear that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Because you're putting in the hard work, you're putting in the dedication, and now it's showing with results. Because the people who see you every day, they're probably not going to notice that much.
Yeah.
But people who haven't saw you in a very long time, they're going to notice that.
They're going to notice, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that as soon as I get my target weight, everyone will start noticing and it will feel great.
Absolutely. Do you, Archita, still have some of those old clothes that you wish that you want to fit in and they are starting to fit in better now?
Yeah. So when I was in my first year of uni, so about 4 years ago now, I went shopping and I bought these like cute pair of shorts. And I fit into them so well back then. But I never got a chance to wear them. And then I think 2 years ago when I tried them on, I was like, oh, they don't fit anymore. But I still kept them because they were so cute and I had spent money on them. And recently, like I was cleaning out my cupboard and I saw these shorts and I was like, hold on a second, let me try these. And they don't fit as well as they did before, but that's because I have more work to do. But they actually fit. And I was like, oh, like it's actually working. It feels good. Like it works. So I was really happy when I saw that. Yeah.
So now that's the goal, to fit into them comfortably, right?
Exactly. Summer 2025, I will fit into those shorts.
Wow, I'm looking forward to that. And probably we can have another episode once you get to fit into them. So like, okay, how are you feeling, Archita?
Yeah, for sure. And actually, like there was a pair of jeans in the opposite way around, actually. There was a pair of jeans that I bought 2 years ago when I was a bit bigger. And now I wear them and I can't wear them without a belt. Like they literally fall off me, which I think was pretty impressive. Yeah, so I was really happy with that as well.
That's awesome to hear. And there's no better judge to see if this is working than clothes that didn't used to fit you anymore. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I so agree. Yeah.
That's awesome, Archita. Really happy to hear that. This is amazing. And this is good to have that drive and that motivation to continue on this journey and to keep pushing as well to get to that target goal as well. So that would take me to actually my last question as well before we wrap up here, Archita. Having done this now for a few months, what are 3 tips that you would tell somebody who is just starting?
I wouldn't rely on motivation because there are so many days throughout this program where I've been like, I can't do this anymore. I would rather just, eat what I want, be happy. But it's the dedication that like gets you through. And I'll be honest, like sometimes I struggle with that as well. But also speaking to your coach, telling them, being honest that you're feeling this way really helps because they're there for like as a support. So that's my number 1 tip. Rely on dedication. So my second one, don't cut out your favorite foods because I've done that before and you're just not going to enjoy this process if you do. Keep your favorite foods in, but portion it. So if you normally had, I don't know, like 2 burgers, as in like 2 burger buns with your chicken, maybe have one with like more chicken thighs, like more protein. Just portion control your favorite foods. And third, don't be afraid to live your life. We all have those social occasions, like we all have parent house that we want to go to for dinner. I think what helped me was like throughout the week, I would plan for that. For example, I wouldn't have dessert throughout that week so that I can bank those calories for that Saturday that I know I'm going to go out for dinner. So yeah, don't be afraid to go on holiday or like live your life, but just do it while you're still training. Yeah,
exactly. As long as you have a strategy, go out there and tackle everything, right?
Exactly, because you can't stop life just because you're on this fitness routine, and you kind of have to balance both. So,
yeah, I love that. These are really useful tips. Thank you very much for sharing, Archita. And yeah, you mentioned it's correct because food is not in the kitchen now. So it's not about like, the kitchen scale and putting everything into perspective. Now food is in the office, social events, in weddings, with around family. And, also with the South Asian community as well, like how the family bonds are really strong.
Yeah.
You eat together. Once you go to India, your mom has to force feed you. We all get into that, So it's important to have that balance.
Exactly. And like when when you go to India or when you go to a relative's house, no is not an answer. Do you want chai? No, that's not an answer. You have to say yes. So just making sure that like you balance that out in the right way is helpful.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic to hear. It was really enjoyable to chat with you today, Archita. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this podcast with me.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And this is not the end because we're still midway through the journey. So we're going to have a second episode, I guess, once you get to your goals. And that would be a really nice one. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay. So keep your foot on the pedal. Keep pushing on.
Of course, I'm going to keep going and I will make everyone proud.
Sounds good, Archita.